Hello and welcome back to yet another Python tutorial. You know, as programmers, learning something like this that's pretty hard obviously takes a lot of time. So we don't always have the time to put into the other and also very important areas of life, like dating, for example. Where is dating? Mostly nowadays. It's in places like Tinder. But what if I told you that we could use Python to literally find dates for you automatically? That is exactly what we're doing in this video. We are going to be using a Python library called Selenium to essentially create a bot to swipe and find matches for you automatically. We're also going to be able to message all of your matches, so you don't need to spend time like figuring out what to say and like swiping on Tinder. Even if you don't care about using Tinder, this project is really going to be amazing for you because you are going to learn how to do web scraping on Python, which is a really awesome and interesting thing to have. And as I always say, the best way to learn things is to build something interesting. And we are gonna see if I can actually get a date automatically using Python. So if you're excited for that, before we start, go down there and hit the like button down below in the description. It's completely free to do, and it is all I ask from you in return for me creating these videos for you to watch for free. So here is a picture of a cute puppy as a thank you and a sign of appreciation for you hitting that like button. Okay, open up your favorite code file and it is time to find some love using Python. We only have to install two things. We have to install the Selenium Python library, which allows you to access essentially a web browser simply through your Python code automatically. And then we need to install this thing called a Chrome driver, which allows us to do these things in Chrome. If you want to follow exactly what we do here, download the Chrome driver and we'll be using Chrome. So you're going to select the latest stable release and then whatever operating system you have, basically download that, then unzip it. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. You're going to go into the root directory of your computer. If you're on a Mac, you're basically going to go here and you're going to go Command Shift period to show the hidden files in your main folder, and then you're going to find this folder called user, and then local and bin. And you're basically going to move this Chrome driver file, which you downloaded before, into this specific folder right here. Then the only other thing you need to do is to open your code file and go pip install Selenium. Now we can start coding by going from Selenium import WebDriver. And then we'll also import sleep from time, and in a second you'll see exactly why. We're going to create a class called TinderBot, and we're going to create an init function. This init function is what's going to automatically run whenever you initialize an instance of this TinderBot class. We're going to initialize a driver with self.driver equals driver, which we just imported, dot Chrome. Essentially, this is going to initialize a Chrome driver, which we can now control using a Python code. And then we're going to start off with a function called open Tinder. Just as a test, we're first going to open up the Tinder website by going self.driver.get. And now when we run this tinderbot.py, we should open up a Chrome window. It's pretty cool. And now we can start doing things with it. So let me just show you exactly the workflow that we want to do. First, we want to be able to click this login button. Then we want to go to login with Facebook. And then we want to automatically first click off this window right here by clicking this button right here. Then enter our email and our password to log into Tinder. That's the first step. If you go right here on this window and you right click on whichever element you want your code to click, you can go inspect. It's going to show you the code for the HTML element that we want to find. The way we do that is we go copy full XPath. First, we're going to sleep for 2 seconds, simply because it takes time for the browser to load, simply because of internet speeds. It goes self.driver find element, and there's multiple ways in which you can find this element. I found the easiest way to do this is just by XPath, and then copy the XPath which we just got from the page. And then now we have this login button, which we found, this login button, saved as this variable right here in Python. And the way we click it, if we go login.click. So let's see if this actually works, or if I made any errors. Wouldn't be surprised if I have. And now we go here and look at that. It's automatically, I didn't do anything. It's automatically gone out there and clicked the button for us. And now basically all we're going to be doing is finding the things that we want to do and then adding them to our code file sequentially like this. Like again, we're going to go inspect on this login with Facebook button. Before we do this, you need to go to your Facebook settings and disable multi-factor authentication. You would do that, you would go to this button, again copy full XPath, go back to your code file. Actually, we're going to define a separate function for this, which is Facebook login. Basically, we're just doing the same thing. We're saving the login with Facebook button as a variable. We're using the XPath, which we copied, and then we're clicking it to see what happens. But the thing that most people struggle the most when learning to code is focusing on your work and being motivated to start working each day. And one of the methods that I found most effective in solving these problems is having a productivity system and a schedule so that every day you have everything organized and you know exactly what you need to do. And for this, you of course need the right system. And one excellent option is today's sponsor, Sunsama. Sunsama allows you to organize everything you need to do today in one place, from tasks, meetings, emails, and more. You can assign tasks to a given day, but you can also set the time that you think it will take you to do them and then assign them to specific times of the day. Then, for example, if I determine that I won't be able to finish some of my tasks today, I can just move them around easily like this using your dashboard. And then to keep track of your time, once you're done, you can set the amount of time that the task actually took to complete, so that in the future for similar tasks, you can plan accordingly. Because as we all know, things tend to take longer than we anticipated. I think it's a really cool app and you should check it out, and you can do so by clicking the link down below in the first line of the description. Thanks to Sunsama for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Before doing this, we are again sleeping for I think 1 second should be fine, and then we are running this Facebook login and we'll see if that works. I think it's opening up, it's clicked on that and it's clicked on the Facebook button, and we open up this window right here. This has now introduced a problem because it opens up this second window, but it doesn't work because actually what our code is still doing, it's focused on this main Tinder window right here. So what we want to do is focus on the new Facebook pop-up that has popped up. Basically, I'm just gonna paste the code here and explain to you what it does. So again, we're sleeping for 2 seconds here just to let it load before we do anything. Then we need to access the new window that we just opened, and luckily in our driver we have this object called window handles. The base window right here, which is the Tinder window, that's the first one, so that'll be the first one in the list. As the second element of this list, we will have the Facebook pop-up window, and then we're going to use self.driver.switch to.window and then put the window that we want to switch to as an argument. This now switches our driver to the new Facebook pop-up window so that we can access it. And as you can see, we get this annoying allow the cookies from Facebook blah 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 pop up on top of this pop-up, but this is actually part of the same pop-up window. I hope that makes sense. So we can actually just again go here, inspect, find the button element, copy full XPath, go back to a code, put the XPath here, and then click it, which will essentially then click this button right here to only allow essential cookies, and then we can actually start entering our details. And for this, what we want to do here is create a separate file called login_details.py. Inside of here, you want to create 2 variables. So essentially, you want to copy down your Facebook email and your Facebook password into this separate file right here. And then in your main function, so this will import the email and password to you so that you don't have to show it in your actual code. Then in your Facebook login function, you would enter these lines right here. We're going to find the email field and the password, inspect, blah, blah, blah. You already know how to do this, okay? And same for the login button, which is this one, which you want to click after you've entered your details in here. Then the way you enter details into these text fields using Python is by going email field dot send underscore keys, and the same one for the password fields. And then after that, we finally switch to the main window to get back to the main Tinder window from a pop-up. So let's run our code right here. It's going to open up the pop-up. It's going to close, essentially switch back to the Tinder window. Voila, we have now logged into Tinder using a Python code. How cool is that? If you find it that cool, hit the like button down below and let's keep going. Now, the next thing that happens, at least for me, is that there's these 2 annoying pop-ups up here. There's this one, which we want to click out of, and then this one, we want to write into our code a way to get rid of this pop-up. So we can just minimize that, and once you run that, you already know how to do this. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, and essentially sometimes I found that these pop-ups weren't actually showing up, and then when it was finding it, it was sort of failing. So that's why I put these inside of these try except blocks. So this is for the first pop-up. We try to find this allow location button. If we find it, we click out of the notification. If we don't find it, essentially if the pop-up doesn't pop up for some reason, the program is not gonna crash because we have this except block where we just essentially print no location pop-up, and we do the same thing for the notifications pop-up. The next thing we wanna do is figure out how to actually like these profiles right here. So essentially, again, we want to find this like right swipe button right here, inspect, find XPath, blah, blah, blah. You already know how to do this. Essentially tell the program to just keep swiping right. Okay, editing me here. I actually ended up running into a lot of issues trying to do the liking by actually selecting the like button. So I thought I'd just cut straight into the part when later on in the video I was going to fix this by doing it in a different way. So in the next section, if you see some code which we haven't done yet, just don't worry about it. Another way to like a person on Tinder is just to click the right arrow key, as you can see right here down here. So if you just select that and you keep pressing the right arrow key, it's just gonna keep liking, right? And it turned out that when you do this, you don't even need to click out of this pop-up. When these pop-ups come up, the like machine behind it would just keep on going. So this is the crucial change I made. In the right swipe function, I would just select the whole document by using the whole body documents XPath and then keys dot arrow right. And to access that, you need to add this one more import line, so you can actually send just key presses in your window. So the way we ended up doing the auto swipe function is that we create an infinite loop. Essentially every time we first sleep for, I think 4 seconds is excessive, 2 seconds is probably fine, and then we try to right swipe, which we do in the way that we just described. And then if that doesn't work, that means that there must be a match, and then we've created this close match function where we found the X path of the button that you need to click to close out of a match to allow us to keep swiping. And then essentially it's just going to keep running, and it's going to keep swiping and swiping and swiping. At the end of the video, I actually show you this in action. It's pretty cool. Our next challenge is to figure out, because you know, when you're as attractive as me, you get all these matches right here, and I don't have time to message all of them individually. Ain't no one got time for that. Basically what we're gonna do is simply message all of them, and then out of those, the ones who actually end up replying, we can actually invest some time into. So to do that is actually not as simple, because we essentially somehow need to be able to loop over all of these matches right here. The way we would do that is we first need to find this parent element where all of these matches are located, and then we need to find each of these match boxes right here and add them into a list that we can then loop over. Essentially the element where all of these are stored, I believe, is this one right here. And then inside of there, these actual boxes of matches are part of these nested divs, and then inside of these we have this A element with links to all of your matches. There's some things that we have in common here. For example, all of these have the class of match list item. And it turns out that in Python and Selenium, you don't have to use XPath, which is unique to every single element. What we can also do is find elements by putting an S there using class name. Basically using this, we can find all the tags with the class of match list item, which will be all of your matches. But there's a caveat here, because this will also give you this box right here, which is the like sent, and this one, which is all your likes. We will find that this one also has an href of my likes, so we can basically differentiate out of this. So the way I've done this is essentially go all the matches, I'm just printing it to test it. Then when we want to go and message these matches, what we want to do is get this href tag over here and open this one, because this is actually the window where you'll be able to message someone. For profile, in match profiles, if the href of the tag is this my likes one, we ignore it because that's not one of the matches. But if it's not, to this message links list, we will then append the profile.get_attribute of the href, which is the link that we will then want to access. And then we will create this in yet another function called send messages to matches. And then for all of these links, we're going to create this self.sendMessage function. So we'll define this function, def send message. And first we will need to get a new window with the same way as we opened Tinder up here in the beginning. So we'll just copy that. So self.driver.get, and instead of this main Tinder link, so for all of these links in this links list, we're running this function right here. First we're opening the window. What you will see is that there is this text box, which we will first need to find, again using inspect. We found just like this. And after that, if you remember from the past how we actually input text into a text area, text area.send keys, and then we need to send off a very intelligent, high response rate message to send to all of our matches, basically. So hi, all we have to do, find this send button, copy full XPath, just like that. And when you run this function, when you run all of this, it's going to automatically send this highly valuable, amazing opening message to all of your matches. So now the moment of truth, let's try this thing. I didn't actually try this part beforehand because I didn't want to like send all my messages, but literally, oh my god. Well, it's working. Voila, amazing. We've now sent all of these messages just using Python. Now, all that's missing is my sex appeal. So if you enjoyed this video, a like down below would be highly appreciated. And if you enjoyed this video, you would probably actually enjoy some of my other Python tutorials. You might want to check out this video for 3 very simple ideas for Python automation projects that you're going to literally build in like 15 minutes, or this one for a slightly more complex project. As always, follow me on Instagram, the handle is right there, or follow my second channel, because on my second channel, I'm actually going to be focusing a lot more on the life side of being a software engineer and a YouTuber at the same time, and sort of life in London, because I've just moved to London. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.